sold over $3 million worth of deals this year, taking sales calls completely from remotely, like from home. I'll show you my desk here in a second. I haven't left the house a single time for a call. And I don't understand why people are still doing door-to-door sales or cold calling or insurance sales or really any form of sales other than remote sales. And in my opinion, if you're choosing something over remote sales, it's just because you don't know enough about remote sales, or maybe you don't know about it at all. So I want to make this video kind of for the salesperson who right now, maybe you're in car sales, maybe you're insurance sales, door-to-door, whatever it is, and you don't feel like you're getting paid enough for how much you're working, right? Because I remember when I was in door-to-door sales, I was working we would knock from 11 to like 7 p.m., right? And if you think in terms of hours, it's like 8 hours, a normal job, but I wouldn't have the energy left at the end of the day to do anything else. I was drained. I couldn't talk to my parents. I couldn't talk to my friends. I couldn't hang out with anybody. I couldn't even start any other businesses. And I felt like I deserved to get paid more than 8K or more than 10K a month, which is pretty much around around what I was making. Because now in remote sales, I make double that and even more. And I do it all from home. It's easy. It's the dream. So I want to make this video so that even if maybe you don't transition from your current sales thing to remote sales, it's fine. At least you know what's out there and you don't miss out like I did when I was in door-to-door sales 2 years ago. All right, so this is absolutely crazy. I am filming a Loom on a Loom right now. But fuck it, I just really want to show my actual CRM from my old door-to-door sales job, just as proof that I actually did door-to-door. I obviously can't get access to the live CRM because I don't work there anymore, but this is it. So as you can see here, I was the top setter for my entire door-to-door sales company. And yeah, you might be thinking like, oh no, dude, you were a setter. Of course you didn't make that much. Top closers on my offer were only making, I think max was like 15K. So, and I've seen other door-to-door sales industries. I know that you can make a lot of money, but with remote sales, you can make just as much working less and from home as well. So unless you really enjoy walking and talking to people and all that, which most people don't, go for it. But I just want to show this real quick. Right now, what does it look like to work in remote sales, right? If you're in door-to-door sales, maybe you get ready, you put on your uniform, you put on your name tag. If you're in car sales, it's like a similar process. Any other, sales process, maybe you don't have a uniform, maybe you just show up to work and you start knocking, right? Let me show you what remote sales looks like. So my entire setup is smack dab in the middle of my kitchen, right? And this little desk here, these are my lifesaver. I use AirPods. I have a computer, mouse, chewing gum, right? And I kid you not, I will sit here for maybe between 4 and 8 hours per day, responding to WhatsApps and taking sales calls, right? And that's exactly what my entire day, and I don't leave this chair for the remainder of the day. I just take sales calls completely from here. And after I'm done, I go out that door and I go to the gym, I do whatever I want. So way back before I even did door-to-door sales or remote sales or any of this stuff, I started my entire sales journey in real estate, cold calling, like wholesale real estate, right? It was the worst experience ever. You show up to an office, you cold call leads who don't know who you are, don't know what you're selling, don't give a fuck about you, to be honest with you. And you do that for 9, 10, 12 hours a day. And it seems like the work never really ends because the progression isn't linear, right? With real estate cold calling, it was like this. And door-to-door is also very similar. It's like, it's flat, it's nothing, right? Until boom, you get one, and then you go down again. And then boom, you get, it's just slow. And there's no, in my opinion, there's no real consistency that you can get with that business model. But regardless, I had real estate wholesale. I closed, I think I got like one deal. I was only 17 at the time, so it was about 4 years ago. And it was a horrible experience, but in the best way possible because it set me up for the fundamentals of now. And maybe I wouldn't even be where I am currently if it wasn't for the fact that I did real estate wholesale back then. So if you're in a sales career right now and you've done maybe not the best, right? Just know maybe it wasn't a complete waste of time because it builds grit, it builds determination, it gives you the fundamentals of what you need to really succeed later on, right? And that's truly what I think I took from that experience in real estate wholesale, right? After real estate wholesale though, I just finished high school, did that, and then eventually at some point when I was in community college, I went and I got a door-to-door sales job, right? That's where I actually did solar and everything. And it was great. Like, if I'm gonna be completely honest, right? As much as I was bashing door-to-door sales and it's like bad and everything, I honestly learned a lot from it. I truly did. I realized that you can have a process for things. And I realized that Business, there's a lot of people who don't succeed, and it's for a reason, you know? Because my first day with door-to-door sales, when I got that job and I interviewed, right? I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. There's so many other people here that I'm in this room with, and they're all gonna be knocking doors, and we're gonna see who's gonna do the best. And I was super hyped. But in 2 weeks, everybody was gone. And I later realized the reason everybody was gone. I talked to the actual CEO of the company, and I was like, well, what is it? Is it because they didn't perform? Is it because they just, what happened, right? And he told me, they all fucking quit, And that job wasn't a low-paying job, right? The pay was around 20, 22 bucks an hour, and we would make some commission off that as well. If you compare that to a job at McDonald's where minimum wage is like 15 bucks, no commission, it was a good job. And I realized not everybody really wants it, right? Even when you give somebody good money, a flexible job, you can pretty much do whatever you want. It's completely performance oriented. People aren't cut out for that shit. And this is exactly what I saw. And I realized it's not that difficult to win. I looked around me, I looked in the room of the people who are still there, and I was like, damn, okay. And I was like, fuck it. I just went out and I crushed it. I became the number one guy as a setter out of people who had been working there for years, And eventually they offered me a closing position there. I turned it down because I actually had to go to school. And when I was in school, it was interesting because I didn't have a job. I had to find a way to make money, right? But I went to this school in Southern California, and I had gaps in my schedule basically. I might have econ at 9, and then from 11 to 12 I was free, and then I had maybe like anthropology after, right? For example. And from 11 to 12, those are 2 hours. It's not enough time for me to really knock doors because I got to drive there, right? And you kind of got to get in the rhythm. If you're in door-to-door sales or any kind of sales, you know this, right? You don't just start selling and you stop. You got to start, you kind of get warmed up, you get in the rhythm and you feel good. And then you really start doing well and you continue on your day, right? With college and everything, I just couldn't do door-to-door sales. So I had to find something that basically allowed me to fill in the gaps, right? 10 a.m. I could take a call here, and then I go to class. And then after class, maybe I could take 2 more calls, right? And then I go to another class, etc. And the thing that I found was remote sales. So I found it completely by accident. I didn't even know that it was this great of a career. I just kind of said, I need something, and that fit with my schedule. I didn't expect to make any money, actually. And I did it for a couple months. I think it was like 2 or 3 months, and I made 10K in 1 month working part-time as a setter. Basically no experience, And the only skills that really carried me forward was just what I learned from, for example, real estate wholesale and door-to-door sales, which is really just have determination, have grit, and actually learn from your sales calls and get better from each one. And that's what I took into remote sales. And again, my first 3 months, 10K a month, and I was working part-time. So I thought to myself, I was like, damn, if I'm making this much money working part-time for this career, I have to be able to scale if I put more time into it, right? And that's exactly what I did. I dropped out of school, I did remote sales, and it brings me to kind of where I am today, where I'm making a lot more money. I'm building other businesses, and yeah, so that's my story. But you might be thinking, right? Your story is a little bit different from mine. Maybe you didn't end up going to college. Maybe you didn't do this, do that. How do you know if remote sales is for you, right? And it's a good question. I would say remote sales, it's not so different from all the other sales careers. If I'm being completely honest, if you succeeded in the sales career that you're in now, in terms of, and when I say succeed, we have to define that, right? What I mean by succeed is just you pushed through, you didn't give up, you didn't quit, and you had moments where you did really well. Maybe you're not doing the best right now, but you had the determination, you worked super hard, and you're still going, you won't give up, right? If you succeeded like that, if you did that, you'll make remote sales work. Okay, because if I'm being honest, the main skills you need for remote sales is really just some determination, some work ethic, and some actual IQ to get better. That's it, And most of the time when I see people get into remote sales, the reason they don't make it work is not because they're not smart enough. All right, most people you're watching this, you're probably overqualified. Okay, you're probably smarter than I am, to be honest. I didn't do that well in school. The main reason why people don't make remote sales work is just because they don't try hard enough. They'll get on the job posting boards, they'll start applying, right? They'll type interested, they'll do the absolute bare minimum, right? And they'll apply for 10, 20 applications, they'll do it for a week, and they'll interview 2 times, and they won't hear back, and they're like, fuck, all that for nothing, right? And what you gotta realize is that even happened to me, right? I had experience, I was the top door-to-door salesperson in my company. I had cold calling experience, right? I still got turned down from plenty of offers. But I just kept going. I applied like an absolute madman, And I got accepted not because of my experience, right? I eventually got an offer because they saw my determination, they saw my grit, they saw the fact that this kid doesn't follow up. The first offer I got turned down the first time. I kept following up after, right? I think it was like 3 follow-ups after until they finally told me, hey, if you're still interested, we have a position for you, right? And I took it and I did really well and I used how much I made for them. I leveraged the next position and the next one and the next one and the next one. And if you want to get into remote sales or really any kind of sales, it's this attitude that's really going to carry you forward, okay? So, maybe you don't transition to remote sales, right? But maybe you want to stay in car sales or door-to-door sales, whatever it is you're doing, right? Just know the reason you probably haven't succeeded is because you don't have this mentality of it's do or done. You can't treat a performance-based job as let me just get this done, I get to go home after. That's not how it works. It's if I don't get this done today, if I don't hit my KPIs, if I don't get the result that I wanted, I'm not going home. And I remember when I was in door-to-door sales, I would knock as late as like 9 p.m. sometimes. It wasn't every night, but if I didn't hit KPIs, I would fucking knock until 9 p.m. People would look at me weird. People would be like, get the fuck out of here, what are you doing? I would do it anyway. Because guess what? Even if I didn't hit my goals, the people working at the door-to-door office, my boss, my CEO, the CEO of the company, they see this kid's still fucking out there. He's not even getting paid for this, right? And he's still knocking. And that's another reason for them to see me higher than everyone else. So this mentality, this killer drive is what you need if you want to succeed in any sales industry. So long story short, if you just don't give up, you have grit, you have determination, you know that you don't stop until you can make something work, right? Remote sales is for you, all right? So now you know remote sales, you do it from home, right? It makes sense. But how does it actually work, right? Because door-to-door sales, car sales, it makes sense. Someone walks into a car lot, they want to buy a car, you sell them the car. Door-to-door sales, someone knocks on your door, you sell them a product. But remote sales, it's like just like a lot of these internet business models, nobody really talks about the actual process for like how everyone kind of makes money, right? So I'll show you. If we go over to YouTube, right? I guarantee you're going to see videos of gurus, right? And gurus usually sell courses and mentorships and info products. So if we see this guy, for example, I'm pretty sure this guy sells an info product or like basically a course. Now, you might be thinking real quick, right? Courses are scams, right? You might have a bad taste in your mouth because of this. They're not. Just like salespeople, right? Salespeople, there's good salespeople, there's bad salespeople who kind of just want to steal all your money and run. It's the same thing with courses. There are good courses and there are bad courses as well. So I don't know if this is a good course or a bad course. I have no idea. But the process is some guru, whatever their industry is. Maybe it's e-commerce. Maybe it's marketing. Maybe it's physics. It could be really anything. They're going to most likely offer some kind of course. So I guarantee you, if we look here, he's going to have a link where you can work with him. And we can see it right here, work one-on-one with me, right? And usually they'll have some sort of application where you kind of fill in your name. Let's just say my name is Sean. Phone number, 123. Let's just put a fake phone number in there. And email, and you get the idea. They're just going to ask you a bunch of questions, right? And basically, after they ask you all these questions, you're going to get a call from somebody, right? Somebody who's basically asking you, oh, okay, why are you interested in this? How does it work? Basically a setter, right? And once you're actually set, once the person's actually set by the setter, right? Then they're basically be taken to a closing call, which is exactly what I do. And so after somebody applies, this is kind of what it looks like on the salesperson's point of view, right? You're going to have all their information, their name, their phone number. Obviously, I have to blur a lot of this out. But the most important thing is you get context about them, right? You know how much money they're ready to invest. You know what their goals are. You know a little bit of background about them. You know what they do for their job, etc. Right? And if you think about the advantage of this as opposed to door-to-door sales, when you knock on someone's door or when someone comes onto your car sales lot or whatever it is, right? What do you know about the customer going into that? Nothing, right? You usually just know what their house looks like and maybe what their car looks like, but you don't know a thing. You don't know if they have the money to buy what you're selling. In fact, you don't even know if they have the problem that your product or whatever you're selling can help with. So you're going in kind of blind and hoping that this person could use what you're selling and you could sell it to them. With remote sales, everybody comes to you. Everybody who's applying with you or you're potentially selling is already aware of what you're offering, what you're selling, and they know that you can help them. You kind of just have to do the sales part of things, right? So if you see here, this person, I know how much money they're ready to invest already. They're ready to invest $1,500, right? So I kind of have an idea, okay, like this is kind of what I can aim for, and this is how I can negotiate my price, right? And I kind of know how serious they are as well. If they have a really long application, right, where they actually type a lot, I know this is a super hot lead. If I kind of just say a few words about them, like I'm not even going to bother calling them, right? And more so, if they don't have the money, I don't have to waste time on them, right? If they literally have $500 and the program I'm selling is like $4,000, we're not going to probably be able to meet in the middle there, right? And I can actually use context clues as well, right? So for example, if that person who had $500 is, a serial entrepreneur or is like a chef or something, right? They have an established job. I know that, okay, maybe they're just not telling me everything they have, right? If they have $500 and then the job here says unemployed, then I know for a fact this person, even if I sold the shit out of them, they're not going to be able to afford what I'm selling. So now let's say you like remote sales, right? You think it's interesting, you want to get into it, right? This is how. It's actually really simple. There's really only 2 steps, okay? There's 1,000 different ways to find offers, but the best way that I found is you just go on Facebook and you search, you go to your, like I'll go to my groups here and you can basically just search this up. There's a group called Sales Pipeline Bros. And what you'll see is there's just a bunch of people posting job postings. They need setters, they need closers, they need a lot of people, right? And you'll see all different kind of industries. Like this guy looks like he's, doing for an offer in golf. This guy, this one looks like it might be marketing. I don't know. But the point is there's something for everyone. This is a huge advantage as well because you can actually have the opportunity to sell for an industry that you're passionate about. If you really like golf, oh my God, there's a golf offer. If you really like working out, fitness offers are also a thing, and that goes for every single possible industry. So, this can really help you just be more enthusiastic about what you sell, which helps a lot, right? So you basically just do this, and then you just apply, right? And they're usually going to say something where if you're ready to go, comment something. I would recommend you go above and beyond, right? Don't just comment. You should probably also, DM the actual person, send them a Loom video, go the extra mile, right? And if you do happen to land on an interview, follow up after the interview if you don't get the job, right? There's a lot of tips and tricks that you can do, but you get the point. If you really want this, you'll do what it takes. And you just do this over and over again. I recommend anywhere between 10 and 20 applications every single day across a lot of groups, and you will eventually find an offer. So now the only thing left that you have to do is, after you find an offer, you have to sell, right? Now, I'm not going to go into a whole talk about how to sell. Everybody kind of does it differently. And it would just be way too long of a video. But you just have to realize the main difference between selling with remote sales and with the sales industry that you might be in now, right, is there's a lot less room for error. And what I mean by this is if you look at door-to-door sales, right, I remember when I used to knock, there's thousands of doors. There's endless doors that you can knock on, approach, and have an opportunity to sell them, right? So you have to realize the cost of a lead, because cost of a lead, to the actual business is extremely low. But if you compare this to remote sales, right? What I just showed you, like the Andy guy who's has a YouTube channel, is a guru basically. That video might have cost him $1,000 to get edited. He might be running ads as well. That costs a lot of money, right? So this means the cost of a lead is going to be way higher, and this means that because the cost of lead is so high, if you screw up or something, right, on a sale that could have been sold, that's instantly money off the table for your actual offer owner. I remember when I did door-to-door sales, right? Practice was easy. Knock, 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 knock. You mess up, who cares? Remote sales, you can't do that, right? So this is why it's very important that you find somebody who you can role play with consistently that kind of replicates the scenarios you're going to have in remote sales, meaning a call on a computer with Zoom or on a phone call with with somebody else. Maybe it's your friend, your family, whatever. And it's very important that after you do the practice or the role play with your friend, you have to be able to analyze and accurately judge what you did wrong and what you could have done better. And I can't emphasize this enough because the biggest mistake I see remote salespeople make when they enter this industry is they think, once I got the offer, the sale is easy, right? But this is not how it works at all, because you have to understand the industry average close rate is like 50-60%, okay? But the top guy on your offer might be closing at an 80% close rate. It's a huge difference. So this means if you're closing at a 50-60% close rate, you are fully replaceable, right? Out of 10 calls, if you're closing at 50% and you know that the potential is at 80%, that's 3 calls that you could close that you're not closing. And if you don't get better quick, right, you're going to be replaced by somebody else who, they see has more potential than you or whatever, right? And I see this happen all the time. So if you don't have that person that you can role play with, or maybe you're still feeling a little bit lost, you're like, offers, this is still very new to me. I want to actually speed up this entire process. Instead of it taking me 6 months to make this work, I want it to take maybe 2 or 3 or 4, right? Just a lot shorter. This is exactly why I offer remote sales coaching. Because if I can save you a bunch of time and help you make money faster, then it's a win-win for both of us. And this is exactly what I offer. My program is basically structured in 3 very simple steps. The first step is offer. I will handhold you in terms of how to find an offer, how to apply, and we'll basically role play on interviews until you get it perfect. The second step is basically securing your place on the offer, right? Once you actually get that sales spot, it's not over yet. You still have to prove yourself. And what we're gonna basically do is I'm gonna role play with you time and time again until we basically make sure that every objection, every possible scenario that could go wrong for you on the sales calls is covered by our practice. And the third step is basically maximizing the offer, right? Once you're already making money on the offer, you're already set in stone. They want to keep you there, right? How do we make more money? How do you become the top salesperson, the top setter, the top closer, right? And I'm going to show you from my personal experience from being the top setter and being the top closer on my offer, how exactly I did that. So if that sounds interesting to you, click the link below, sign up for a call, and we'll see if it's a good fit to start working together.